right, hello everyone. I hope you're having a great time and enjoying your lunch. But we'd like to get started with our program. We have a number of wonderful guests who want to speak briefly to you and who deserve to be recognized for all that they have done for Mill Creek and for the Tri-State Trails and for all of our organizations as we work together to redevelop and remediate and restore the Mill Creek and its watershed and all of our watershed communities. We literally could not have staged this event without the support of some incredible sponsors and partner organizations. The list is too long for me to name them all. If we want to keep this brief, there are some sheets at every table that show all of the partners and all of the organizations, all of the sponsors and volunteers that made today possible. And I urge you to take a look at those, and many of their logos are here on the banners behind me. Cannot thank everyone enough. There was really a small army of people that enabled us to pull off this event today. Now that said, there are a few folks that I would like to give special recognition to and invite them to say a few words. First in that group is Jen Lorraine from Duke Energy. Duke has been a long time staunch supporter of Mill Creek Alliance and all of our projects, both the company itself and through the Duke Energy Foundation. They were the inaugural sponsor of the very first Canoes and Conversations 5 years ago. This event would not be here without them. So thank you very much. Jen, come on up.
Thank you, and thanks, Dave, and good morning, everyone. As Dave mentioned, I'm Jennifer Lorraine with Duke Energy. I'm the VP of our Government Relations and Community Relations here for Duke Energy, Ohio and Kentucky. And it is such a pleasure to be here during Canoes and Conversations. This is my first one. Duke has been a strong sponsor for 5 years, but it's my first one, and I paddled this morning, and it was really great experience. And so I really think this event is a testament to the incredible work being done by Mill Creek Alliance to foster community engagement and environmental stewardship. So thanks so much for including Duke Energy in the program this morning. Over the last decade, the company has proudly provided over $85,000 in support of the Alliance programs and educational initiatives. This includes, thank you. This includes those contributions towards the restoration of the creek, enhancing public access, and improving water quality monitoring programs. And we've also helped make significant impact into environmental education, reaching over 1,000 students in the schools in and around the area. So we're really proud of that environmental educational reach we've had. As Dave mentioned, this is the 5th year we've sponsored, and our partnership with the Alliance is a shining example of what we can achieve together when we have those common goals. And I've got several Duke Energy teammates here today and colleagues, but I want to specifically mention Chad Schaefer in the back there for his particular work with this event over the last 5 years. We all know that Mill Creek is a driver of recreational and economic development opportunity in the area, and it's so important connecting city neighborhoods with suburban communities. And so this event continues the tradition, showcasing the progress that the area has made and the potential for future improvements. And at Duke Energy, we are dedicated to collaborating with our community partners to invest in that preservation of nature for future generations. We'll continue to be an industry leader in our clean energy future, and we'll continue to support climate resiliency and do our part to support the programs that have that ever so important shared goal. So thank you, Dave. Let's continue to drive positive change and make a lasting impact on our environment and the communities around us. Thanks so much.
All right. Our next guest is Diana Christie, who's the director of Metropolitan Sewer District here in Cincinnati and Hamilton County. MSD also has been an amazing supporter and friend and ally to Mill Creek Alliance. They have donated so much time, technical expertise of their staff, financial support of our programs. You may remember a little bit last year when beyond their control, they had a power failure at their plant, which led to some problems in the creek. We coordinated so closely with them, getting out, sampling the creek, doing what we could to remediate the problems. The collaboration between MSD and the Mill Creek Alliance and our partners during that time period was truly amazing. It's an example of what a public-private partnership should be. So I'd like to welcome Diana Christie to the stage.
Thank you, Dave, and thanks so much for inviting us here to celebrate with everyone. And it's my honor to be here on behalf of MSD and just to say a few words and recognize the partnership, as Dave just explained, between the Metropolitan Sewer District and Mill Creek Alliance. But first, just a little bit about MSD for those of you who aren't as familiar with us. On an average day, a nice sunny day like today, the Metropolitan Sewer District treats close to 200 million gallons of wastewater from the greater Cincinnati area. And all that wastewater flows through 3,000 miles of sewers to one of our wastewater treatment plants. That doesn't mean a lot to you. 3,000 miles is about the distance from California to New York. So it's a pretty big operation. We take great pride in performing this service. We work 24/7, 365 days a year, making sure that our system continues to operate uninterrupted to protect the environment and public health. With the dedication and commitment of over 600 employees, we're also continuing to improve and enhance our wastewater treatment process to better serve the community and protect the environment and ensure the safety and reliability of our treatment process. But it's no secret that our system is aging. Some sewers were built over 100 years ago, even 200. And with that, problems do arise, and problems that impact our local rivers and streams. One way that we've been working for decades now to improve the system is through our wet weather improvement program. That work is ongoing, and it's been a continuous effort and a lot of resources to bring our system in compliance with the Clean Water Act and to reduce and eliminate combined sewer overflows. Since we started, we have in fact eliminated or controlled 72 combined sewer overflows, 69 sanitary sewer overflows that have been eliminated. And we've, all that amounts to about 55% overflow reduction, or going from 14 billion gallons a year, 14 billion, to just over 6 billion gallons a year. Through that, we've improved water quality in 114 miles of streams, including the Mill Creek. The largest scale project that impacted the Mill Creek was called the Lower Mill Creek Partial Remedy. Basically, the keystone of that is the Lick Run Greenway. Encourage all of you, if you don't know about it, to get out and check that out. And through that, we reduced overflows into the Mill Creek by 2 billion gallons per year. So through our partnership with the Mill Creek Alliance and others, we work to monitor water quality and aquatic habitat in the Mill Creek. We also do the same in the Little Miami and the Muddy Creek. We support Mill Creek Alliance projects that they have performed over the last decade to mitigate low-head dams that are caused by utility crossings from things like old sewers. And this and other work that we've done and other partners have really led to the ongoing recovery of the Mill Creek. In the most recent water quality analysis, we've demonstrated the improvements of the creek. For example, 8 of 11 sampling sites in the Lower Mill Creek are in full attainment of their aquatic status. 20 of 30 in the Upper Mill Creek are in full or partial attainment. So again, work to be done still, but we really are seeing great improvements from all the work that MSD and all of our partners have done. We're seeing 61 different species of fish in the Mill Creek, with 7 new species, including the smallmouth red horse for the first time. I actually don't know what that is. So. Smallmouth. I was going to say smallmouth bass. I don't know if it's the same thing, but these species. Yeah, these species are sensitive to pollution, so seeing them in the creek and seeing them thrive in the creek is really a sign of improvement of the aquatics and just the quality of the Mill Creek. So again, more work to be done. Just last week, more work to be done specifically by MSD on reducing those combined sewer overflows in the Mill Creek and across our system. And just last week, Hamilton County presented a plan for the next phase of work that will be ongoing, continuous improvements to our system. We are envisioning 3 large high-rate treatment plants at our 3 largest facilities. These are facilities that operate only during wet weather to treat the volume of flow from rainwater that we are unable to get into our system. So instead of overflowing from the system, that will be treated through what's called a high-rate treatment process. These projects will take time. They're costly, they're large, but in the first 10 years, we envision another 1.5 billion gallons of overflow reduction from the work that we're going to do. So again, I really just want to thank everyone for allowing us to be here today and tell you a little bit about what MSD is doing, and thank Mill Creek Alliance for their partnership and help on everything we've been doing, and happy to chat with anyone more after the event. So thank you.
All right. I'd like to turn now to another partner without whom today literally would not have been possible. A number of you got to enjoy paddling on the West Fork Mill Creek. And yeah. And that's exciting because today is the first time ever that we've been able to take members of the public on a guided tour paddling the West Fork Mill Creek. We do it all the time on the main stem. West Fork is a little bit smaller, sometimes doesn't have enough flow for good paddling. But due to our tremendous collaboration with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, they agreed to release additional water off the dam up at Winton Lake and Winton Woods for us today. We've been working with them. We've been working with them for several months now to sort of fine tune that, tried a bunch of different levels with Chris Carr and Greg Bechtel and other heroes paddling at different levels. Got it to what we think is the exact right level today. Those of you who paddled, was it good today? Awesome. And that literally would not have been possible without incredible work by Army Corps of Engineers. And I also can't pass up the opportunity to again mention that, last year, a little over a year ago, when there was the totally unexpected power outage at MSD's plant, and material was going out into the creek, and we were really concerned about that, and collaborating closely with MSD's technical folks, Laura Boyd, who's here in the audience, and Reese Johnson, and trying to figure out what we could do about that. The Army Corps sometimes has a reputation of being, sort of a monolithic, giant organization that moves at glacial speed. No offense, Jim. They have that. I said that was the reputation. And I'm happy to say we found that to be totally wrong. I mean, we were frankly kind of desperate, and we made a call to Jim O'Boyle from the Army Corps. Wound up talking to him, several of his staff, some of their folks in Louisville, and they responded instantly. I mean, it was amazing. They agreed to help us out by releasing a bunch more water off the dam like they are today, but only a much bigger volume. And that came down into the main stem of Mill Creek and helped move that material out of Mill Creek and avoid some really serious damage to the stream ecology. So a huge thank you, not only for today, but for last year and for our future collaborations with the Army Corps of Engineers. And I'd like to introduce Jim O'Boyle.
Thanks for the kind words. Dave, thanks for those kind words. I feel like I'm taking a little bit too much credit here today. A lot of people are coming up and thanking me and patting me on the back and saying this couldn't be possible without you. Well, 30 plus years ago, When I started with the Corps of Engineers, I moved to the Cincinnati area, and I never ever thought I would see a day when people would be floating down the West Fork of the Mill Creek. And I feel like in large measure, that is because of people like Dave and the folks at the Mill Creek Alliance. So hats off to you guys. Fair play to you. And what Dave touched upon, I think, is so critical. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Jim O'Boyle. I'm with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. My office is up at Caesars Creek Lake, but one of the flood control projects I oversee is the West Fork of the Mill Creek, which is located at Winton Lake and Winton Dam, of course. And boy, this is just a fantastic event. The collaboration that's going on here today. The Corps of Engineers has a lot of missions. We're taking care of locks and dams on the Ohio River, navigation, hydropower. We have military missions, just a broad array of missions that the Corps of Engineers does. But one of the things that the Corps of Engineers does is we want to be responsive to our community and our partners and our neighbors. And that's what Dave touched upon. When there was an emergency on the Mill Creek with some MSD having some issues with sewage getting into the river, or even like a day like today where we're supporting recreation, this is what we want to be here for. We want to be here to support our communities. What a great event. The enthusiasm, the synergy that's happening here today is just inspiring. I am just blown away by all this, and I feel like I am just doing a tiny little fraction to contribute to that. I'm proud to say that I'm a part of this, but hats off to all of you who are making this happen. Thanks for inviting me. I hope this is the beginning of many events that we can support and enjoy.
Somebody recording that?
Enjoy. Well, I am retiring in 8 months. But my young man who's coming up and going to take over for me, he is very much of the same mind. He thinks that recreation is important. The Corps wants to sponsor and support recreation, support communities. We're not just here for flood control. We're here for a variety of other different things, and this is a great example of that. So thanks, Dave, and thanks to all of you. Sorry, that was my fault.
No, we're good. Sorry. All right. Jim mentioned all of the incredible collaboration, all the incredible efforts that went into making today happen. And that is a true statement. Before we go further, I want to acknowledge a few individuals and a few groups of people without whom today would definitely not have been possible. First off, I have to recognize the Mill Creek Alliance staff, all the staff members who are here today. Raise your hands, stand up. These guys work their butts off every single day with passion and resourcefulness and creativity. They make my job easy and fun. I get to stand up here and be the admittedly very pretty face of the organization and take all the credit for all the stuff we do. But, it's really them that's making it happen. So thank you to my staff from the bottom of my heart. Also, special recognition to, the two people who I think put the most time and energy into this event. The amount of work that they have done over the last 7 or 8 months is just stunning. And that is, again, one of our staff, Linda Keller, who's here. Where are you, Linda? And right down here in front, Michelle Gottschlick, our board chair, who also is the chair of this event. And the amount of stuff these two amazing women have juggled to make this happen is mind-boggling. So thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize my own dear wife, Lee Schmidt, who is right there. Lee created the centerpieces here today that are on all the tables. And it's what she did is, in my mind, quite amazing. All of the flowers, both the dried ones and the living ones that are part of the centerpieces, have either been grown by Lee or foraged from the wild and dried and pressed by Lee and then applied to those containers. All of the containers are recycled materials. They're made out of either wine bottles that Lee hand cut and fashioned, as well as reused. I contributed. I did my best. There's a few green ones out there that allegedly were Tanqueray bottles that I might have had a hand in. But Lee felt very strongly that we wanted to do everything in a sustainable manner. So all of these are recycled materials or materials that Lee grew or collected and pressed herself. And you guys can take these with you. The centerpieces, anybody who wants to grab one of these and take them home, feel free to do that. If you feel so inclined, you could go to the Mill Creek Alliance's website and make a donation in recognition of that. But please, these were meant to be taken home and planted and enjoyed. There's a couple packs of wildflower seeds on every table too, so please take those home and plant those and support our butterflies and other pollinators. So thank you, Lee. An amazing job. Last but not least, I need to thank all the members of the Canoes and Conversations Steering Committee. It was a huge group of people that met monthly and worked daily, weekly to make this event happen with all the different activities and sponsors and events. Could not have done it without them. If you were on the steering committee, raise your hand. It's a bunch of people, and I know a lot of them are here. Last but not least, I certainly have to recognize our friends at the Mill Creek Yacht Club. Again, all of our paddling trips, all of our cleanups are really them. I mean, we help them organize stuff, but this is an incredibly dedicated, passionate group of volunteers, some of whom have been at this a lot longer than I've been working for the Mill Creek Alliance, and started this off 30 plus years ago. So thank you so much to our friends at the Mill Creek Yacht Club. And so now, moving on to the rest of the program without further ado, I'd like to introduce Wade Johnston, who is the Executive Director of Tri-State Trails. Wade is the leader of an amazing organization, Tri-State Trails, that works not only on the trails here in the Triangle Trail and the Mill Creek Greenway Trail, the Crown Network, but other trail systems all across this region. They have made amazing progress in their own right over the last 20 years. We are working on so many projects together. It seems it's certainly a weekly, sometimes daily, that I'm talking with Wade or members of his team. We're almost joined to the hip at times, but all of the things that happen today, the future work that will happen, bringing the water trails and the bike trails together for the benefit of our communities, would not be possible without Tri-State Trails, without Wade's vision and the energy and passion of his team. So Wade, come on up.
Thanks, Dave. I'm honored that you asked me to be the keynote here today for Canoes and Conversations, and excited to see you all. Did anybody know that today is actually National Trails Day? So you all got to celebrate trails on National Trails Day. I hope you all had an awesome adventure out there. Each one of these events just keeps getting better. I want to give a second round of applause to Michelle, to Dave, and the whole Mill Creek Alliance team and Mill Creek Yacht Club for making this a success and safe for everybody. I think I've been to every single one of these events, and what I love about Canoes and Conversations is the experiential learning aspect of paddling or cycling or hiking the Mill Creek watershed. Raise your hand if you paddled today. Good show of hands. And unless you're an active member of the Mill Creek Yacht Club or an avid paddler, you might not otherwise get the chance to be on the Mill Creek. And thanks to the special conditions that were derived here today for the West Fork Mill Creek, this was a unique experience that you might not get to do again soon. Hopefully it happens again. And hats off again to Jim at the Army Corps and Chris Carr, who I think came up with the idea, and Dave, who helped facilitate all that. It's really like a collaborative team effort to make this possible. I'm a little jealous I didn't get the chance to go on the canoe, but maybe I'll go for the second round here. How many people did the nature walk or the water quality activity? Handful of folks, great. Hopefully you got to experience how the Mill Creek is a beautiful wild corridor right here in the middle of Woodlawn in Wyoming. In either direction, upstream at Winton Woods or downstream and then up the Mill Creek a little bit, there's a bald eagle's nest. And if that's not a testament to the Mill Creek being a thriving ecosystem, I don't know what is. And then how many people walked the trail or did the bike ride? Good show of hands, great. You got to see some of the vision for the Mill Creek Triangle Trail. Some of you walked the existing multi-use trail and up to Glenwood Gardens, and others biked with my team to Wyoming, Woodlawn, and Redding, where we hope to reconnect neighborhoods that are not so far as the eagle flies, but can feel pretty far away and disconnected because of the highways and the railroads. Riding a bike between these communities shows you how short that distance really is. And when we have a paved trail to connect them all, how easy it will be to zip down to Wyoming and grab some coffee or over to Lachlan for ice cream at Sugar Shacks on the Tracks. Each one of these activities was carefully planned to show you the best of what the Mill Creek has to offer and what opportunity sits before all of us to continue to improve the Mill Creek as an amenity for each of your communities and for all of Hamilton County. The shared vision of all these organizations that partner in this event is pretty simple. The Mill Creek is a thriving ecosystem and natural environment, and the Mill Creek watershed is a network of trails, parks, and water access points that enables residents to live an active lifestyle and find the wild that's in our own backyards. Collectively, these two statements summarize what Mill Creek Alliance, Tri-State Trails, Great Parks, and so many of these local governments along the way are hoping to accomplish through the Mill Creek Triangle Trail. Events like this can help everyone visualize the opportunities and the challenges of piecing together this puzzle that is the Triangle Trail. A vision for a 40-plus mile network of braided trails that will connect this trail right out here to Glenwood Gardens and more, to Winton Woods, to Sharon Woods, to the planned Crown Cincinnati Trail down in the city of Cincinnati. By building the Triangle Trail, we will not only be creating a linear park system that links residential neighborhoods to Great Park's world-class park system, but we'll also be forging connections between communities and creating a healthy, affordable, fun, equitable transportation option for individuals and families of all ages and backgrounds to walk, to run, to bike. Look, the idea for the bike trail is not brand new. The first section of the trail was built in Redding's Koenig Park, which we rode to on bikes today, built in 1998, followed by Glenwood Gardens in 2002. And I'm glad that the team chose Woodlawn here today because that is one of the older sections as well, having been built in 2004. Wyoming built their section of the trail in 2009 and 2010 and then extended it in 2016 and then again last year down to Wyoming Avenue. All of the local governments deserve some credit for being visionary and investing in a trail to connect their communities. It has given the rest of the Triangle Trail communities a proof of concept and something to connect to. The story that's unfolding for the Mill Creek Triangle Trail is just like the Mill Creek's comeback story. It's a story of persistence and patience. I remember when Michelle convened the first meetings of the Mill Creek Collaborative, born out of the Connecting Active Communities Coalition. We were meeting for 9 years or so, since 2016, I think. In the beginning, the effort was focused on building a coalition of partners and identifying quick wins to implement this idea for a trail network, building off the success of the West Fork Mill Creek Greenway. Then in 2020, Michelle and Mill Creek Alliance, with the help of Senator Richard Finan, the mayor of Evendale, convinced Norfolk Southern to sell about 1.5 miles of former railroad corridor along Sharon Creek to Great Parks. It took a long time to negotiate with the railroad. I think people felt exhausted by that. But at the end of the day, they got it done. And it was thanks to the due diligence of folks like Dave and Chris and Michelle and the Great Parks team to close the sale in 2022. Then we knew the next step was we had to position this corridor to apply for funding, to build a trail. And we knew that this project would be much stronger if we went bigger than just this corridor along Sharon Creek. And if we expanded the vision to connect Sharonville, Evendale, and Reading to neighboring communities like Lockland, Arlington Heights, Cincinnati, Glendale, Wyoming, Woodlawn, and more. So Mill Creek Alliance secured a grant to help restore the stream bank. It's something they're planning right now along Sharon Creek in preparation for the trail. These two work efforts dovetail each other. Fix the stream, restore the habitat, lay the bench for the trail, build the trail. Everybody benefits. And thanks to the support of 18 different government agencies and partners, we've organized a feasibility study to understand the cost of building the trail, how we can phase it out and build it in sections. And hopefully you've already heard today, we're working on the feasibility study now. That's where all these boards are, some of which are around the room here. And we need your help. We need your input. Our team has developed routes and associated cost estimates that we believe are feasible to connect more than 12 communities. The posters are right over here, and there's a survey on the QR code that you can take. It's open through Monday, June 3rd. Our project manager, Brad Bowers, is here, and along with Rachel and Caitlin from our team who can answer any questions you have. But this study is really just the next step. The trail's not built yet. Each of your communities has a really important role to play in building out and stewarding this trail network. The whole point of the feasibility study is to create an action plan. And we're going to need the help of all of you to apply for grant funding to build out the trail, mile by mile. This is how we've been successful in Cincinnati with the Crown Trail Network, thanks to the leadership of the City of Cincinnati and Great Parks of Hamilton County and several other local governments. Piece by piece, leveraging federal money with state money, with local money, and really focusing each piece of trail on connecting communities. If you haven't seen the Wasson Way, you really need to. It is a game changer. It's going to connect to the Little Miami Scenic Trail in the near future, thanks to Great Parks. And hopefully you've heard Great Parks just got the green light on the Oasis Trail to connect Lunken Airport to downtown along the Ohio River. Folks, we are really in a pivotal moment. I mean, from my vantage point, I can't believe that all this is happening so fast. And the Mill Creek Triangle Trail is a great next opportunity that if we plan ahead, it'll come to these communities as well. We can have these same opportunities in central Hamilton County if we work together. I know the conditions are not exactly the same with the highway and the railroads, but it is similar. With the Wasson Way, we've always talked about how it would reconnect Hyde Park, Mount Lookout, Evanston, and Avondale, communities that have been disconnected by I-71 and are very socioeconomically different and racially different. And that is what's happening. And we have another opportunity here with Hamilton County recently securing the Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods grant, $300,000 from the federal government, thanks to the Hamilton County Planning and Development, Luca Rednick, who was the author behind that grant. This is going to explore how we can mitigate some of the negative impacts that have been created by the highway and the railroad in Lockland, Arlington Heights, Reading, Evendale, Sharonville, and more. One of the best parts of the trail network is bringing people together, people that might not otherwise get a chance to bump into each other, because they're all sharing one thing in common in that moment, a desire to be healthy and to get outside. It really creates a sense of community when you bump into somebody that you know when you're out on the trail. You know, you don't get that experience in your car. And I think it cultivates a sense of empathy that we desperately need in our society today. We can do it. All of you are doing it. We need to keep doing it. Now is the moment. So after today, I hope your perception of the Mill Creek is positive. I hope your opinion about the Mill Creek is hopeful and excited. Over the past 9 years in this role, I've gotten to know so many folks who have lived in the Mill Creek Valley for decades or even their whole lives. And most of you remember when the Mill Creek smelled bad and had a negative stigma. But it has made a resurgence. and it's thanks to Mill Creek Alliance and all of you for working together. You all should be proud. Maybe I'm showing my age here, but my perception of the creek has always been good. You know, I was at an event for the Hillside Trust a couple months ago, and Dave was showing these beautiful pictures of the Mill Creek, and he's like, how many people remember the Mill Creek like this? And I was like the only person that raised my hand. And I think it's because of events like this and the advocacy of people like you, Mill Creek Alliance, elected leaders, local government officials, people who care and are putting the time in to make a positive impact in their community. You all are making a difference. Your energy and persistence makes me hopeful and excited. I think there's some real momentum here, and it needs to be continuously nurtured. The Mill Creek watershed is an example of how it takes a village. So keep it up, let's work together, and continue to restore and enhance this waterway that connects us all. Thank you.
Wow, thanks, Wade. That was a wonderful talk, and I think really captures the passion of all of the organizations that are here today and coming together to make this happen. And Wade mentioned that we've had the support of lots of jurisdictions here in Hamilton County and in the watershed, and lots of elected officials here in the watershed who have been staunch supporters of Mill Creek and Tri-State Trails and all of our collaborative efforts for the last several years. And I'd like to recognize some of those folks who are with us here today and invite them to say a few words. First up, I'd like to invite Senator Catherine Ingram, State Senator Catherine Ingram, up to the stage.
If I fall. Now, the sad part about coming behind Wade is like, well, what else is there to say? Pass the plate. As Dave said, I am State Senator Catherine Ingram, and I love this stuff. I was always an outdoor person, climbing trees, and Dick Finan, I know he'll be up here in a minute or two. And as a kid, yeah, Wade, you're absolutely right. Most of our memories from the Mill Creek was that, oh my God, what's that smell? And then you got used to it. So having said that, and I know I said that probably the last time I was here, my reality is that I thank each and every one of you who not only dons a shirt, but took the time to be here today, but also to do the work to make sure that the Mill Creek was clean. Now, okay, maybe clean is too far, but a much better place for us to use and benefit every one of us. As I said to Todd when we were talking, I was up at Glenview, and one of the things that we talked about was making the connections. When the folks at the Crown talked about how do we get the dollars and H2 Ohio, I said, don't forget Southwest Ohio is down there. We're talking about not just one group. You got the trails here, you got the river people there, you got Brewster with the canoe on his top of his car. But you've got to make sure that it gets to the people who live in these communities. And it's about every community. We don't get to skip. We don't get to make the connections that we want to make. We have to make the connections that benefit each and every one of us. So having said that, our ODNR, the natural resources folks, we push them a lot at the state level when we start talking about projects and things that they need to do. So I applaud you, and I thank every one of you that are being here, the sponsors, for not just this event, but for making sure the sewer district and folks like that, making sure that this work gets done. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Senator Ingram. Next up, I'd like to invite a longtime friend of the Mill Creek and the Mill Creek Yacht Club, County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Thanks, Dave. Longtime friend. Wade, where is Wade? Just a heck of a lot older than you, my friend. Been around here a little bit longer. Do you remember when the Mill Creek didn't look or smell anything like it does now? So you've invited a lot of elected officials up here today, Dave, so I'm going to be brief. Thank you for the work that you're doing, for the work of the Alliance, for all the partnerships. There are a lot of connections with the county. I'm Denise Trias, County Commissioner. And so when you go on the rides with Mike, you learn a lot. I've always canoed with Mike. The first time we went under the Western Hills Viaduct, that leg, and you look up and you can see the sky through the viaduct. So the sidewalk literally has holes in it. And we said, oh my God, it's literally falling apart. So we have now funded that. On our way we go with the city of Cincinnati, by the way. And then you talk about the trails. And, we've got some real opportunities here with the triangle, but also down along the areas that are Fairmount, South Cumminsville, some of these areas that Catherine talked about that aren't used to seeing investment. And you build a trail there for recreation, but also so they can get to Kroger. And now you're making some meaningful investments in communities that are generally not seeing that. And it takes knowing it. How else do you know this stuff unless you're doing it with Dave, with Wade, with others to try to figure out how to be a problem solver with all you guys. So I'm so grateful for the work you're doing. It's really visionary. I mean, who looks at Mill Creek, or who did look at Mill Creek a number of years ago and say, wow, this could be a really cool waterway. We could canoe on this, let's go. But it takes real visionaries to do this stuff, and people that know how to make it happen with sponsorships and collaboration. So hats off to you and your team. Really, really had fun today, and thanks again for the work.
Next up is another long-time friend and supporter of Mill Creek Alliance. We have done so many projects with the village of Evendale, and they have supported us on so many others. Mayor Richard Freinen, who has been a true friend to us.
Thank you. I was here for the first one. And it was a very small, intimate group. It was down on the Mill Creek in Evendale. And we maybe had 40 people there at best. But it was the beginning. We had a great speaker that day. He was from the city of Milford, or Loveland. And he talked about the advantages of developing your bikeways economically. And that really hit home to me, thinking about those things. And I think it's very true today. I had one responsibility today. I was in charge of the weather. You did okay?
Way to go. Yeah.
I also think some kudos should go to the village of Woodlawn for their outstanding work here that they have done today. Mayor, take a bow. Take a bow, Mayor. Take a bow. Right. So we will go onward and upward with people like Senator Ingram in the game. I've known Senator Ingram long time. She was a resident of Evendale at one time. Yeah. So we go onward and upward now, and a lot in the future, and come back next year.
My name is Aaron Brown, and I have the privilege of being the mayor of the beautiful city of Forest Park. First, I have to say, so I'm a bit newer to this, but the thing that I'm constantly struck by is how the vision of Michelle, Dave, everyone else who is a part of the Alliance have taken our shared values of loving green space, of loving clean airways and waterways, and really brought together a number of different communities behind a shared purpose. And that's something that always strikes me. It's never lost on me that across all of our socioeconomic divides, across our geographic boundaries, what we are capable of when we come together under a shared mission and a shared purpose. We are always stronger together, than we are separate. And we can always find reasons to disagree with one another, but it takes the vision and maybe a little bit of craziness of individuals like this to look at something like the Mill Creek, that it stinks, that it is polluted, and to say, we are going to have bodies floating down that river in a positive way. and it works. And it comes to fruition, because that is the true hallmark of leadership, and that is the shared values that comes across when we pull together for an impressive mission. So I want to thank you for your vision. I want to thank you for the time to speak. And if you will indulge me a little bit, Michelle, because I love the name Canoes and Conversations, but to continue with the theme, the alliterative nature of it, I would like to add a tagline, if you will, because this could be Canoes and Conversations and Meals on the Mill. So, but thank you, everybody. That's my time here. So, thank you. I'll get to you.
All right. So many of our elected officials, mayors, council people have come together to make this happen. And Wade mentioned the ongoing feasibility study for tri-state trails and the trail route corridors that is currently in motion. Our next guest and his city, Glendale, have become huge parts of this. They are a key connection to make the Triangle Trail happen, to go from east to west, from Sharon Woods over to Winton Woods. Please welcome Mayor Mike Bessel from Glendale. Oh, he had to leave. Not Mayor Mike, but speaking on, accepting the award on behalf.
I'm Amy Baldridge, council member with Glendale. This is my second year at this event. So much fun. I met Michelle and Dave probably about a year and a half ago and have gotten involved with what's going on. Love nature, love the idea of the trails. My family and I, my husband and 3 kids, we did the cycling trip today, and it was wonderful. And for me, it really made the connection about the connecting of the communities, because I had that in my head, but I hadn't really experienced it yet. So we went all the way down into Reading and Lockland, and I just, the way I live my life, I haven't had much time spent in those communities, certainly on foot or on a bike. But to be able to do that on a Saturday morning, beautiful leisurely bike ride, well, ask my legs if it was leisurely. But it was just so nice, and it helped me to see the value of these trails in that way. I may never have to, go to work on a cycle, but I would love to be able to do this more often for long distances safely with children, So I just appreciate having that opportunity. Thank you guys so much for what you're doing. Thank all of you. This has been great.
Next up, I'm proud to invite another member of Mill Creek Alliance's board and the leader of a community who has shown such creativity and such passion, and like the Mill Creek itself, is making an incredible resurgence. I'm proud to call her my friend, as well as a member of my board, Mayor Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey of the village of Lincoln Heights.
Now, you guys have made it very hard for me to come behind all these great speakers. Me and Mayor Forest Park gonna have a conversation after this, and Mayor Finan as well. But I am so deeply honored to be amongst all you great people. And for Mill Creek Alliance, Michelle, I love you. But I'm very excited about being a part of Canoes and Conversations. I think I've been to maybe all of them, when I first, before I became mayor. But it's deeply an honor to be here and to just see all these people. And I was one of those adventurous ones, I'm gonna say. And so when I just want to tell you a little bit about me tipping over in the canoe. That's why I did not mess with it this time. But I would say that I and I think it was myself. Was it Jessica Miranda? Yeah, the first time we tried Mayor Poole, you was there too. He was, yeah. He see all that. I think I lost my ponytail and everything. And they had the nerve to say, we found your hat. So that was the first time I did it. But you know what? So the next year I was like looking at that canoe, like, I don't know. Don't ever get in the metal boats, by the way. But I did go back. On a good note, I did go back and I beat that devil and I made it through, but believe me, I was praying the whole time. But for the ones that you guys, that it's your first time coming to Canoes and Conversation, I'm just so excited to hear some of the stories. I did participate today. I did the walk and the hike. So shout outs to Bennett. Awesome. And Great Parks that gave us some history on trees and plants, and it was a nature trail, and it was awesome. I'm glad I was able to take part in doing that. But shout out to you canoe folks. I maybe might see y'all next year. I gotta think about it. But when I think about the village of Lincoln Heights, so even though we're not close as we would want to be, but we are a part of the feasibility study and the connecting communities transportation. And so our vision for the village of Lincoln Heights is that we're looking at adding more recreational spaces and being a part of that Triangle Trail. We may be phase 6, maybe, I believe, but we're looking at how we can make that Triangle Trail come across our community, go through or under the railroads, but connecting so our residents can take part of that recreational spaces. So I just want to thank Mill Creek. I don't want to stay up here because I'll get emotional when I think about the beauty of the village of Lincoln Heights and how we are moving in positive places amongst Hamilton County. So thank you all for having me, and God bless you all.
And there will be a connection to Lincoln Heights. You have our word on that. That's going to happen. Next up, another key player in our Triangle Trail planning, an area that hosts several beautiful tributaries that flow into Mill Creek. Mayor Lawrence Hawkins from Springdale.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Lawrence Hawkins III from the city of Springdale, and on behalf of Springdale, we're a longtime tree city. The environment is important to us. The trails, being able to bike and run and walk is very, very important to our residents as well, and they're very passionate about this. So when these things are going on and we're looking at expanding and connecting, that's a huge thing for us. To me personally, this is really about collaboration and connection. In terms of collaboration, the fact that we can get together with a number of different communities and elected officials to talk about things, and Wade has been super responsive. He had somebody come out for a council meeting for us to talk about what's going on. Those kinds of things are awesome and important. And in terms of connection, none of us lives on an island, right? We are all a part of this greater Hamilton County area, and it's important that we're all linked up socially, talking about things that impact all of us. But with regard to this is sort of the manifestation of this in real life in a physical way, with connecting ourselves to each other by way of these trails and ways. So we appreciate all the efforts that folks are doing in this fine event, and I'm going to wrap up because I'm an attorney by trade. I get paid by the hour, and so Wade's going to get checked when we're done. Thank you, guys.
I'm a recovering attorney myself. I no longer get paid by the hour. Maybe I should talk to my board about that. Because my billable rate was a lot higher. Last but certainly not least, among our elected officials, we've talked a lot about connections. And today we're talking a great deal about the Triangle Trail. But as I mentioned earlier, the vision for the Triangle Trail includes connecting to the city of Cincinnati and the Mill Creek Greenway Trail and the Crown Network, and eventually creating an 80-plus mile loop through all of Hamilton County. And we are working extensively with the city of Cincinnati, the Port Authority, and many other organizations to make that connection happen and to extend the Mill Creek Greenway Trail down to the Ohio River. And that could not happen without a lot of great friends and allies from the city of Cincinnati. So I'd like to introduce Cincinnati Councilmember Anna Albee.
Well, hello everyone. Hello. I'm Councilmember Anna Albee. I'm the newest member of Cincinnati City Council, so I've been in since January, and I'm thrilled to be here today to represent the city of Cincinnati, all the good work we're doing. And today's one of those interesting days where we're bopping in and out of different events, and the other event I'm heading to after this is a summit on gun violence awareness, gun violence prevention in Avondale. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about the connection between this event and that. And for me, it really came back to safe communities. What does it mean to have a safe community, right? Clean air, clean water, access to fun, educational experiences, access to green spaces. And that's what you're doing here today. And that's what all of our families and kids in our community deserve. So I'm just really excited about the work you all are doing to make that a real thing for everyone in our community. All the cities and townships represented here today. And I'm really grateful for that. And I think the biggest thing, in addition to kind of those pieces, is that sense of community that we have here today and that you all are fostering right through these. And we've heard people come up and talk about these experiences and the bonding and the connections we're making with each other. And I just think that is so powerful. And I'm really proud of everything the city of Cincinnati is doing. Wade already rattled off all the things, so I feel like I don't have to repeat it. But everything Cincinnati is doing with the Green Cincinnati plan, prioritizing, connecting our trails, public transit, pedestrian safety, all that. I'm just really proud of the work we're doing and all the collaboration. So thank you for letting me be here today and joining this support. And thank you to everyone whose name is on this banner. Thank you all for being here in the room. I'm just really glad. So have an awesome rest of your day. We couldn't have asked for better weather. So thank you.
In addition to all of our elected officials, and we're so grateful to all of you for making time to be here today and for your support of Mill Creek. We could not do what we do without some amazing partner organizations. We've already talked a lot about Tri-State Trails and all the work that we're doing with them. But another amazing partner of Mill Creek Alliance is Great Parks of Hamilton County. We have done amazing restoration projects on their property. They were a key partner, as Wade mentioned, in the negotiations with Norfolk and Southern Railway and acquiring that old rail corridor leading from Evendale on the confluence with Mill Creek all the way up into Sharon Woods. One whole arm of the Triangle Trail in one fell swoop, which is just amazing. Great Parks now owns that stretch, and we're going to be doing about $2 million worth of stream restoration and trail preparation on that starting this summer. It's in the design and engineering right now. So in recognition of all that they do for us and all the partnerships that we have together, I'd like to invite Janet Broughton Murray, who's the Chief of Planning for Great Parks, up to the stage.
In It has been so exciting to hear all of the amazing things that are going on, and it's all centered in this heart of the watersheds in Hamilton County, the Mill Creek. Wade, while you were talking, I was ready to get on my bike and bike all 40 miles of the Triangle Trail. The trail and I are not ready for that yet, but we're gonna get there. So I'm so excited to see all of you here and be part of this excitement, and Great Parks is so happy to be in partnership with all of these wonderful organizations. The public tells us time and time again that what matters to people in Hamilton County, one of the things that's very important to us in this part of the country are trails. And we are so proud to be a countywide organization that can help create these connections between all these amazing local municipalities in connecting our greenways, our parks, and communities and their assets. That's why in our master plan, building more trails and expanding access for more users are two of our main goals as we implement that plan. One of the ways that we're embracing this role right now is through, as you can see on this map, the Glenwood Gardens and Wynwoods Trail. We've mentioned this a couple of times, but that's very exciting because we're getting started on that. There's a pedestrian improvement project that's starting this summer at the entrance to Glenwood Gardens, and then we'll be working on building that trail out in the summer of 2025. So that's coming right up. I'll be excited to see all of you out there once it's built. In addition to trail building, conservation is very important to us, and that's what's so special about today is I'm new to the community. I also don't remember what the Mill Creek was like before, but just hearing the story of the resiliency of this waterway is so inspirational. And that's so important to us at Great Parks too, the conservation of and restoration of our beautiful natural areas here in the county. So as we move forward, we are so excited to keep working with all of you and continue safeguarding and protecting these wonderful places that our communities are going to be able to make memories that last a lifetime. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're hitting the home stretch here, I promise. But now you're going to have to listen to me drone on for a few minutes. And you know, Wade gave such a marvelous talk, and I don't want to rehash everything he said because he really did capture the heart of what we're doing here. You know, Canoes and Conversations, the Triangle Trail, the work of the Mill Creek Alliance is all about shared vision. And that's what we're here to do today. We're here together, we're sharing visions and ideas, creating friendships, forging partnerships that are going to see us through this process. I mean, it's going to take a lot more time and a lot more effort and passion and financial support to make all these things happen. But it is happening, and it's happening because of all of you. But this vision really didn't start today. It didn't start 5 years ago with the first Canoes and Conversations. It started over 30 plus years ago with a crazed visionary named Bruce Kaler, who's here in the room today. Where is Bruce? I saw him before. He's definitely here. He's down there creating some more connections. You know, Bruce was one of the first to recognize both the plight and the possibilities of Mill Creek over 30 years ago. You know, at a time when Mill Creek was being named the most endangered urban stream in North America by American Rivers. Bruce brought together the Mill Creek Watershed Council of Communities, which was much like what we're experiencing here today, an alliance of communities throughout Greater Cincinnati that agreed to come together and work together to do something to help the Mill Creek on a regional basis. And that organization is what, you know, later morphed into Mill Creek Alliance, and its mission continues to this very day. You know, together we've blazed a trail. We're talking about trails today. We have blazed that trail. And the success of today and all of you being here and experiencing the Mill Creek shows the support that is out there in the community for what we're doing and creating the water trails, creating the Triangle Trail, the Mill Creek Greenway Trail. And it will lead to so many benefits for all of our communities, but only if we make sure there are connections to all of our communities. And that was said earlier today as well. You know, this is not just a trail for more affluent communities. This is going to be a trail that we're going to make sure touches all of our communities and provides opportunities and connections to all of our communities. It can lead to job creation. It can lead to access to jobs. It can lead to economic redevelopment and just the pure joy of being on the stream or being on the trail and being able to meet people from neighboring communities and foster that togetherness. You know, as Wade mentioned, the county recently got a wonderful grant for $300,000 for planning to specifically make those connections. So many of our communities, in a sense, are hidden from each other, much as the Mill Creek is a hidden gem and is sometimes hidden from view by honeysuckle or fences or, you know, concrete canyon sections, which are shrinking, but they're still there. You know, our communities in some ways are hidden from each other by being split in half by railroad crossings where trains stop for sometimes hours at a time, by the highway, which, as we know, is a big issue right now in the communities where we sit today. And the grant with the county, the Hamilton County Planning and Zoning, and the coalition of communities that came together behind that is going to plot out how to remove those obstacles and then allow the trail to knit us all together. And the trail will do that. And not just here in our suburban communities, but knitting us to the city of Cincinnati and the rest of the Crown Network and the amazing paddling opportunities and exploration opportunities that are in the southern part of the watershed as well. This is going to take time. I mean, there's no line about that. This is hard work. It takes years of effort and persistence, but with the passion of all of you and the people here and all of our friends and allies in the community, it will happen. Don't let anybody tell you it's impossible. It will happen. People told us 30 years ago that it was impossible to fix Mill Creek. That creek was gone beyond repair. It was a waste of time. It's impossible. Don't mess with it. Well, you know, it took time. It took effort. It took passion. But we have done the impossible. You know, you saw it today. You were out there paddling. You were out there riding bikes, hiking along it. You know, we've still got issues, but, you know, the creek is there. It's an asset. It's good for fishing and hiking and boating and just sitting by it and enjoying and watching the birds. I mean, it is back. So don't let anybody tell you that it's impossible. We have done the impossible already. The rest of it is just hard and time consuming. And that's easy. We got that. So thank you all for coming today. Appreciate it. When you leave here today, remember the friends that you're sitting across the table from, the people you met on the trail today. You know, these are going to be your friends and allies as we make the Triangle Trail and all the rest of this work happen. So thank you very much for being here today. Last but not least, a few announcements. On behalf of the Village of Woodlawn, I'd like to let you know that in a couple of weeks, they're having a massive, great event here to celebrate Juneteenth. That's going to be on June the 19th here in Woodlawn in this very spot and all the surrounding areas. Come and check it out. But also, if you have time, volunteers are definitely needed to assist with that. It's a big event, even bigger than this one. So come out and give them a hand. Check out their website and sign up for that if you can. Last but not least, for those of you who we're on the paddling waiting list. There is going to be a second canoe run starting as soon as we're done here. So if you're signed up for that second run of the canoes, head out over that way. You'll see the guys with paddles like they were this morning, and they'll get you all organized and set up for that second canoe run. All right, that's all today, folks. Thank you so much for being here.